And perhaps what is one of the craziest events right now is happening in K-pop. Something that will probably go down in K-pop history. Min Hee Jin versus HYBE, right? That sounds like a court case, but it hasn't happened yet. On Monday, that was day 1. The whole situation got blown out. And then on day 2 and 3, more unraveled. Dirt was spilling off from each side. An audit was like ongoing. Day 4, which was Thursday, is the press conference that Min Hee Jin had, and that's when public sentiment kind of turned around. Now we are on day 5. HYBE sent out a letter addressing the concerns from the press conference on day 4. And this video, we're going to go over that entire letter that was addressing all the issues. Right after they said that they wouldn't address any of the issues, they backpedaled and released the statement anyway. And here, I'll go over the issues one by one. I'm gonna read it to you, and we're gonna just kind of go through it together, see what's real, what's BS, right? And that's what I want from this whole situation. That's why I'm doing these videos. I'm not really editing these to be like entertaining, like memey as my usual videos, but I still think it's pretty entertaining in its own right. All right, enjoy. Why the cow sweating? It's hot. It's spicy drama, right? HYBE responded. This is HYBE. We would like to clarify some points in response to remarks made by Adore CEO Min Hee Jin at the press conference that was held on April 25th on the protection of the shareholder value and intellectual property. Regarding the claim the takeover management was a joke or casual talk. Okay, so this is in regards to when she went on during the conference. She said that it was just a joke. She wrote it on a piece of like post-it note, and she never meant for it to be serious. She wanted to throw it away. Okay, so that's what this is addressing. Records of discussion held over several months for the same purpose are recorded in conversation transcript and work logs. Casual talks that occur repeatedly over a long period of time, accompanied by the involvement of third parties, is no longer casual talk, but becomes a plan with execution of the plan. Moreover, the vice president who the conversations were held with is a certified public accountant with professional knowledge of corporate governance who has conducted HYBE IPO duties and numerous M&As. So M&As is merger to acquisitions, IPO is initial public offering. So this is like going live with stock, like other people can buy your stock. And then mergers or acquisition has to deal with like a bunch of bullshit that happens when the companies combine together. So they're saying that basically because you keep repeating the same joke, which is 99% of what jokes are, it becomes serious. Fair. If that is what it is in Korean legal terms, then sure. Then in this case, MHJ is in the wrong and is no longer considered a joke. He is also the core executive of Adore, who is the person that access to all of the company's financial information. The vice president even noted that CEO's remark of ultimately leaving HYBE in the work log. It cannot be considered a joke by any means. That's fair. Cannot be dismissed as jokes when several documents that calculated the amount. Ooh, so they're saying they have documents that said they calculated the amount of exercising put options. Wall Street bets rise up. Specifically stated the timing of action and mentioned terms such as infringement lawsuits, investors, and battle of public opinion have already been found. There's even record of Min Hee Jin instructing the vice president. This will have to be noted as being casual conversation. So this part is like, I don't know about this part, right? So if she says, hey, we're just casually having a talk, and then the other group's like, hey, you're not casually having a talk, like what does the Korean law say? Like, who's in the right here? I think this part, if they have it, then we can't really argue against it, right? It doesn't seem like this is... At first, there was a lot of like he said, she said. This doesn't seem like one of those he says, she says, because they say they have documents proving that it's multiple times. Korean law might favor HYBE because they did it say it's a joke. It's so true. Yeah. I think this is one of the cases where MHJ might actually be considered a criminal. But I have read somewhere that someone mentioned that it also depends on the stage of the takeover. If it's just talk and there's no like actual plan, if they're just saying, hey, we should divest, or we should leave, then that is not considered a viable plan, right? So it's down to the lawyers to determine which part of this is considered an execution and whether she is guilty of this. But because there's so much happening here, even if she's like innocent in this part, there might be other parts that consider her guilty, right? Like there's just so much that she's done. I feel like MHJ has digged a hole in this, and ultimately, before I read further in the letter, if I have to guess what ultimately happens in this situation, MHJ is not going to be able to stay at Adore. HYBE, even if they're wrong, even if they're right, MHJ will not be able to stay there. Whether it's like terminating her contract, whether it's firing her, whether she leaves on her own will, whether it is considered a criminal act and she does get arrested, I don't think there is a future within HYBE for her because of this situation. Yeah, there are certain things you can't say. Like, you can't mention anything about schools, right? You can't say you're gonna do XYZ, especially within that type of setting. You just can't. They take that very seriously. There are some jokes that you don't make, especially as a higher up public, private figure, whatever the case. There are some jokes that you just don't make. There are some things that are very serious. And part of this, as we go along, is also we're trying to understand Korean culture, right? Because there's one thing that we can interpret as US law, and then there's something else that's interpreted as Korean law. But there's a third part of this, which is like the culture of it all, right? That's the part that I think 99% of us are gonna miss. Like, we just don't understand it as well. So that's why certain things seem like a big deal, but we're just like, why do people care about that? Like the environmental thing, I have no idea what that thing is about. I think she stays since she's 20% share. But if she stays, right, like she has to fight another uphill battle. Maybe she does stay, right? But I don't think a positive future is there for her at HYBE. I think maybe she has to do something, but it's stacked against her because the contract is what she considers a slave contract. If she leaves, I read this elsewhere. If she leaves, the contract states she can never work in the entertainment industry ever again, which essentially is like you can't leave. So maybe she does stay, right? But again, that's just my guess. My guess is like if she stays, there's just not much hope left. But I think what HYBE wants is to replace her. That is pretty evident at this point. But what does MHJ want ultimately? She wants probably an apology. She wants Islet to admit it, but they can't undebut Islet, right? Like they're already out there, they're doing things, and eventually you hurt the girls. And again, that's not going to sway public opinion. I do want to talk about public opinion after this because it seems like everybody's flipped over from one side to the other overnight because of the conference. Regarding claim that monetary compensation was enough, she never said. I don't think she said much about like the monetary compensation not being enough. I think she mentioned that she could just retire, right? Like she didn't have to work. So CEO claimed that her salary of 2 billion won, more accurate. Oh, this is saying that she didn't get as much because she was expecting like what, 5 billion? She's saying like other people got 1 billion for less success. Okay, so this is what that part is about. The incentive for 2023 performance is 2 billion won, and her salary and long-term incentive are calculated separately. This salary is by far the highest among all individuals who work at HYBE headquarters and Korean subsidiaries. So they're saying she is the most paid in terms of salary. Interesting. So one thing I have learned as we went through a couple of these articles is HYBE put her in one of the highest offices in the building, and they gave her basically whatever she wanted to work, right? So part of this is if you're thinking from HYBE side, you hired someone, you gave them everything in terms of financial incentive and everything, but then you turn around and you debut a group that, if you're a CEO, you must understand that debuting a group similar to New Jeans is going to upset this person that you're paying a shit ton of money to, right? Like, I don't understand why you would poke a sleeping bear like that. Or maybe this whole thing was done without like anyone's understanding. But like I said in previous streams, like a lot of eyeballs have to have been like on the debut of like B-lifts, right? So that part is something new that I've learned since last stream. HYBE also provides substantial stock compensation apart from salary. The value of her stock is very large extent cannot be imagined by normal people. I mean, do you have the number? I mean, this is like a vague thing on top of the vague thing. So I'm not too sure what maybe it's a lot, maybe it isn't, maybe it's the most, I don't know. Nevertheless, CEO proposed an amount the company could not possibly accept and led the conversation to a disaster. We see this process of her setting up a pretext to gain independence of management rights. Okay, so it's we see this process as a pretext of setting up to gain independence. So this is HYBE speculating that this is something else. HYBE is estimating, right? So this part is based off bullshit. Proposed an amount the company could not possibly accept and led. Maybe she lowballed him, highballed him, or whatever in this situation. But this is HYBE speculating. This part is like the biggest red flag. Even if you're team HYBE, you should be like, does asking for higher pay mean that she wants to be independent? Because she was very successful. New Jeans is very successful. Why is the mocking to say HYBE can do it and be successful? Yeah, I think so. I think they're just saying that, hey, we can do exactly what you do, if not better. Regarding the claim that the audit began immediately without response to whistleblower email, we sent a detailed 6-page long and A4 size response on April 22nd. Wait, that's Monday. And it is confirmed that CEO Min read the reply at around noon that day the email was sent. However, keep insisting that she did not receive an answer. So they said she read it. Someone's lying. We don't know who. We don't know who is lying. So they said they sent a 6-page detail, like long detail. So either she clicked it and never read it, or she didn't like the contents within that response. I don't know what to believe at this point, right? Because everything's up in the air. The audit was conducted after recognizing attempts to seize management. Let's see if I can get the. Yeah, let's use this playlist. I think it's less distracting. Right. Or maybe it never, because we don't know what's said in here. This could be a 6-page long response about something completely irrelevant, and then she read it, and then maybe she thought it was about something else. I don't know. I think I'm not gonna say like I need to see this, right? But at this point, we don't know what this paper is referring to, what this response is. The audit was conducted after recognizing attempts to seize management rights over several months through internal and external information. So to argue that the audit schedule for serious misconduct should be notified in advance. That's fair. I feel like if you're gonna get audited, you kind of don't want the other person to know that you're about to audit them. And yeah, I think the audit coming out of nowhere is alarming, but for a few reasons, right? One is Min Hee Jin is not supposed to be able to prepare for an audit. I think that defeats the purpose of an audit, right? If you can scrub all the things to make yourself look good, then the audit never really achieved its true purpose. But also to have an audit, to go public with a bunch of things. And then I read a YouTube comment where they're like, oh, what HYBE going public? Min Hee Jin's the one that went public. No, it seems like HYBE went public first and then Min Hee Jin had the press conference. I think some people are taking things out of context and they think that I'm talking about her post press conference because I released the video late, which is also like why I eventually want to make a timeline video, because depending on when you see like certain parts of the whole drama, you're gonna think people don't have this information or that information. That's just how the whole thing is. Again, I'm not blaming the person or anything. It's just like the way people receive information, right? The timing of it all. And I think without timestamps, it's really tough, really hard. There's no guidance on the return of information assets. Okay, so this is them addressing the audit timing. As part of the audit procedure, we visited her residence to retrieve assets on Monday. Despite several attempts to contact her, she did not respond. After the return deadline expired, we again requested return assets. So they did it. They requested again a day after through Adora Vice President Shin. Vice President replied, CEO Min is too busy to do so. And she found out about the return through the media without any notice and concluded it was a media play, is an irresponsible lie. Okay, so HYBE is saying that Min Hee Jin pretending not to know that she had an audit is a lie. They're suspecting that Min Hee Jin knows about this. Part of me also believes that Min Hee Jin knew about it and is trying to avoid this so she can keep her assets. But again, I don't know if she actually saw the email. Part of me wants to believe that she did and she wants to hide it because there is important stuff on there and she needs it to work, right? And to have all this happen right before the bubblegum MV dropping today is kind of suspect. I feel like at this point on Friday, after the MV has dropped, maybe you comply with the audit. But if there is damning evidence in there, then that's kind of like a checkmate play, right? If you eventually do give it in. I would be surprised if she didn't wipe everything on her computer before handing it in. The claim that we took away computer assets so she could not work ahead of New Jean comeback is also a lie. As soon as we received the return, we provided a new laptop and allowed download all previous data. Okay, so that work is not disrupted. Other auditees are also working with new devices that are provided to them. Okay, so it seems like it's more damning for MHJ, right? It seems that, but if they're saying that we do provide you with the materials and the data that you already had, then that part's out the window, right? We can't assume that they have ill intent. So that part
that part of MHJ's statement regarding not returning her laptop seems to be more suspect. So I'm inclined to believe it. And again, like, if they release something like this to clear stuff up, then yeah, there's less suspicion, right? Again, I'm not saying we should like 100% be on one person's side. I think we need a bit more information. I mean, of course they are, right? You got to think about part of this whole situation, similar to Avengers Civil War or any type of like internal conflict like this. It's not like who's more right, who's more wrong. There is the law, right? The law is punishing, but it's like, who do people side with that they believe in? And a lot of Koreans that are siding with her are like people that are working. They understand the toxic Korean culture. They understand the work culture. Not that all Korean culture is toxic, right? But there is a part of it that is very toxic. And from my conversation with a lot of people, it's people that have jobs, that are working, that have experienced like very toxic bosses, that seem to side with her and understand her situation. They understand the corporate life. Yeah, they understand Corpo. And it's the perpetually online people, like every comment that I read that's like on like a HYBE stan, or people that are against MHJ saying like, why, I can't believe people aren't against her. I go check their accounts. They're perpetually online. They are chronically online. They literally post like 300 posts since last week kind of thing, right? I'm exaggerating, right? I went in one of the accounts and I looked at how many times they posted within like the past 24 hours. And it was like a scroll bar you wouldn't even believe. So these are people that all they do is spend their time online, and they think they understand the whole culture. That's the type of people that are currently defending HYBE, right? And it's a lot of Western culture. But the Korean like public seems to understand where she's coming from. And I get it. She's appealing to humanity, and people like authenticity. People like to appeal to that. I can't watch or read. It's crazy that they're online for so long and they still have such a shit attention span, right? But it is what it is. Regarding the claim that we promised to debut New Jeans as HYBE's first girl group. Okay, so this is them trying to address the part where she says that LE SSERAFIM was not supposed to be HYBE's first girl group and New Jeans was. This is the part we already answered in detail, the emails. So they're saying this was part of the 6-page document. We suspect the reason why CEO Min claims that she did not receive it because she cannot take such provocative but unclaimed truths. If she reads in an email, we send a detailed answer as below. Oh, okay, so they're actually giving us details here. CEO Min is making false claims based on your own distorted way of interpreting the process of separation from source music. The reason why New Jeans could not debut as HYBE's first girl group is not because HYBE did not keep our promise. At the time, you strongly insisted that you would debut New Jeans under their own separate label while requesting to form a team which you hold all the responsibilities. HYBE respected your opinion and transferred members to Adore despite the opposition of Source Music, and provided a large amount of funds accounting to 16 billion won, approximately 11 million, so that New Jeans could debut in the way you wanted. In this process, New Jeans' debut schedule could not help but be delayed regardless of HYBE's intention due to the division of the company and transfer of contacts. So this is the part where she was working under Source Music as a creative director or like art direction, and then she wants to debut New Jeans but not under Source Music. So this is the part where HYBE said, all right, we're gonna give you everything, we're gonna give you your own label to debut. So I guess the timing of that like was the reason that she wasn't able to debut quickly enough. Moreover, you yourself have revealed the process before. In an interview with media outlet published on March 24, 2022, you directly mentioned the girl group project you will proceed under your plan, and the launch will be held in the third quarter. You even remarked the rushed debut can only be a big burden on young members. I don't want to make everyone feel rushed, so I set the third quarter of 2022 as my launch time. So I guess this is saying, I think this addresses the part that it wasn't ill intent to debut LE SSERAFIM. It's not like they were trying to trample over them, but it doesn't say that directly, right? You kind of have to read in between the lines for that. What it sounds like is she delayed New Jeans' debut by 1 quarter, but I still don't know the timeline of like, did they push LE SSERAFIM up before that? Because both can be true. They could be saying that she delayed the debut, and it could be true that HYBE wanted to debut it before New Jeans, right? Because if she said, hey, I'm going to push my group back, and then the creative director of Source Music or something say, oh, we got to get ours now first. We can still pretend to be part of the Min Hee Jin world or whatever, right? Can't say that your group is getting delayed. Instead, you don't want to rush their debut. Which part? Which part's the lie? The part where she says she wants to delay her group? Maybe she didn't even announce it yet, right? I don't think there was the delay. I don't think MHJ said there was a delay. She just said she's launching in the third quarter of 2022. And as long as Source Music I guess Source Music is not Source Music. I think HYBE is now saying they never promised that New Jeans was going to be HYBE's first girl group. But if they did, it's very easy to prove, right? All Min Hee Jin has to do is show an email that said, hey, you said we're going to be your first girl group and we aren't. So this could be HYBE just putting themselves in a corner here. Again, this doesn't deny that they said that, hey, you can have the first girl group. So this is very, very like specific, right? HYBE did not deny that New Jeans wasn't going to be the first girl group. So maybe they have said it. Again, this is lawyer talk. Because if they came out and said, hey, we did not say that New Jeans was going to be HYBE's first girl group, and then there is email or evidence that said there is, then then it's pretty damning, and then HYBE just instantly loses the court case. Let's see, maybe we can find this article. Damn, this is going to be really hard to find. I'm trying to understand why they think this is a argument that says like we never claimed that it was going to be the first girl group. Okay, so they're saying the reason is not because we did not keep our promise, but essentially you broke your promise, right? Because if you promise Min Hee Jin that your group New Jeans is going to be the first girl group, then you're not going to debut LE SSERAFIM before New Jeans gets debuted, even if she like pushed it back or delay it. So in a sense, HYBE is kind of in the wrong here. This is tricky. Again, I don't have like a legal background. I'm just trying to understand this the best I can. But it doesn't seem like HYBE is in the right that they think they are. Because if they truly said, like this part, right, that could not debut as the first girl group is not because HYBE could not keep our promise. So it seems like they did promise. I'm reading, so it seems like they did promise her that it was going to be the first girl group. And if it's a promise, maybe it's not legally binding or whatever, but if you promised it and then you debuted a girl before that, then you broke your promise. So how's that untrue? That's a true claim. You broke your promise. What? I don't think this point is as strong as you think, HYBE. Again, there are certain points where Min Hee Jin might be like damning, but this is like incriminating yourself, kind of. You broke the promise. You promised it was going to be a first girl group, and it ended up not being your first girl group. So what else is there to say? Regarding a claim that she was told not to permit New Jeans at their debut due to R&R, but dispute between Source Music and CEO Min, New Jeans' schedule got delayed and Source Music debut first. So again, you broke your promise. That's what it is. I'm not saying the promise is like just instantly puts her in the right, but you broke your promise. That's reality. It wasn't the first girl group. Because if you promise, the way you would keep your promise is you delay LE SSERAFIM's debut as well, but you didn't. I don't know that there's no argument there. Hold up. I actually need to BRB real quick. Alright, regarding claims she was told Source Music debut first, they're not adequate in time because their first debuts follow one another. Decided minimum promotion periods would be in set. I did read somewhere about this, minimum promotion periods. In the case of LE SSERAFIM, transferring to HYBE has been pouring out even before she signed a contract with HYBE. Amid this situation, if we promoted Adore's debut group as a team composed of only rookies. Made this request to protect news for both teams. Even then, we shortened the period in the middle and started promoting New Jeans early. Also, the time that CEO Min's interview took place 2 months before debut, you already had plenty of time to promote her new girl group. Your claim greatly differs from the perception of how much full support, compromised Source Music I provide the success of Adore. She's saying that there isn't, that they didn't promote. But this is the part where, oh shit, I have my BRB back. This is the part where I'm seeing media about like the debut and how she like purposely made it look like she it was like $5 in a dream or whatever. Up here they said they gave her what, 11? Where is it? They said they gave her 11 million so they could debut in the way they wanted, right? So if this is true, then is this all that they gave for her? It seems like they, what do you call it? This, I don't know. This is getting messy. This is getting messy. Because I have seen the pictures, right? But again, it could be her art or creative direction. I say we keep an open mind on this for sure. I just don't know why. What Sakura has to do with this part. I'm more confused by HYBE's response. There was not right. Okay. La Seraphine debut date. New Jeans debut date. I mean, it's 2 months apart. I don't know. I don't know how long promotion periods are, but I don't think it's like 2 months long. I'm stun locked by this. I feel like I don't have the expertise in this subject for this. Okay, moving on to number 7. Regarding claim that HYBE is neglecting the promotion of only new jeans. We have already answered this claim in detail and replied to email sent. The HYBE communication organization put in full effort promotion new jeans. Last year, 273 press releases. Oh, they have numbers written to distribute for new jeans alone, compared to the 659 press releases for Big Hit Music, which operated a total of 8 teams, including BTS as a group individually, 365 for Playlists, 4 teams, including 17. Difficult claim. We've been negotiating for neglecting promotion of new jeans only. Our PR promoting all labels. I mean, a press release is only a small part of the whole thing, right? Because it's not just press release. There's also like interview pictures with Banksy Hook on his Instagram. That was like a big thing that they were not promoting on Banksy Hook's Instagram. Like, we don't see a single picture of him with new jeans on there. Yeah, they act like press release. It's not the only thing, but you know what? This is from someone that worked in data for a couple years. This is them clawing and finding pieces of evidence that supports what they claim, right? So they do press releases, but press releases are, it's pretty low effort. I'm not gonna lie. Like, back in university, we had a press release, like a group that did press release stuff, and they did a billion other things on top of that. Press releases are not like the biggest thing in the world. I feel no one even reads like what, emails? You send out emails, like spam emails? No one even reads emails nowadays. Yeah, it's like it's like, hey, we helped you. We opened the YouTube video. We watched it a couple times in the office. We watched yours like 300 times. We watched BTS like 600 times. I don't know. I feel like this is a very weak point. This point's actually really like pretty dog shit. Not gonna lie. Excuse my League of Legends language, but this point's kind of dog shit. Because this press releases aren't the only promotion you do. Like, what about going on tour, right? Like, stuff like that. Regarding the claim of, the slave contract. The non-competition clause in the shareholder agreement has a duty of confidentiality, but is mentioned at press conference by CEO Min to prevent unfair competition from majority shareholders setting up a business in the same industry after selling their shares. It's a common clause by anything. Okay, so apparently the whole industry is held up by slave contracts. Is this HYBE's response? Yes, this is HYBE's response after they said they would not respond. So they literally doubled back and responded because they realized the public was siding with Min Hee Jin and they couldn't have it. They just wouldn't let it. And it seems like getting the public's approval is a huge thing in Korean like social media in terms of being right in the court of law. I don't know, because juries are probably what... Wait, does the Korean court have juries? They do, right? I watch Attorney Woo, of course they do. So again, like if the public has one sentiment, then you literally cannot, I guess, win a lawsuit. Like you will just insta lose the minute you get in court. Because if the court is like super anti-business, right? Then you kind of you have to do everything in your hands to make the other party look bad, especially if you are the big business in question. It's also not true to say that she is tied up forever. CEO can sell her stocks beginning in November this year. If she sells the stock, she will not be subject to non-competition clause from no. You're not in a slave contract. You're just in a slave contract for 2 years. You see why, like, I don't want to side with any side right away? Because you get shit like this. It's not a slave contract. It's just a slave contract for 2 years. What? It's impossible to call it a slave contract when she guaranteed a large amount of money. She expressed that I can make 100 billion won just by staying still. When there's a condition that she can cash in and start business by the year next year. These are unconventional compensation that normal people cannot even imagine. This must be like a popular term because I saw it a couple times now. Normal people cannot imagine. I guess it's like they're just describing that this is such a large amount of money, I guess. Even like a Kakao Talk conversations that Min had confidence stated that she can exercise the put option on January 2025 and exit. Regarding the clauses about selling stocks in her contract, the CEO Min is claiming to be a slave contract. There is a difference in interpolation and priority order of the two clauses. We already sent her a reply in December last year saying, if the interpretation is ambiguous, we can settle the ambiguous provisions by modifying them so that there is no issue. CEO Min said, I'm not interested in money, but the core issues that triggered the discussion was the scale of compensation. So Min Hee Jin came out and said, I'm not interested in the money. And HYBE is stating that the reason this whole thing came up is because of the money. So let's think back. Min Hee Jin came out, it raised an internal issue about Islet. This is my understanding. And then HYBE went public with the information, and then started digging up a whole bunch of shit, slamming it on her plate. And then she came out and had a freak event on a press conference, right? So that pretty much sums up like the current situation. So the greed part, I don't see the greed part. The fact that, oh, even HYBE says here, she can make money by just staying still. So if she's really greedy, she could have just shut the fuck up and sat there, right? And she only has 20% ownership, so if stock tanks, it's not like she's gonna lose it all. Like, she only has 20% ownership. Yeah, they're trying to point this away from Islet, which is a smart move, right? If you are HYBE right now, you don't want anything to do with Le Sserafim, you don't want anything to do with Source Music. But it seems like they're dragging Source Music into this. But it seems like they're still protecting B-Lift and leaving B-Lift and Islet out of the conversation when that's the main reason this whole thing started. And they're trying to, I guess, navigate everything away from the core issue. And they're trying to make any issue by an issue by itself. I don't know if this is like a tactic or this is just like in recent memory, this is what we want to address kind of thing. But of course, HYBE wants to keep the press away from Islet, right? I don't blame them for doing that. Like, you want to make sure that things go smoothly and you want to isolate incidents by themselves. I get that. But again, it's I'm not seeing the core issue is being triggered by scale of compensation. I'm not seeing that here. So again, one side is trying to make this about justice, making it right, talking about things, and then the other side is pointing out that, hey, this is all about the money, right? So which side is true, which side is not? And I think right now it's like what you believe in is to be true. Favoritism and sub-labels too. I think the favoritism, people are saying that she got paid really well and that New Jeans actually had a lot of financial support, but we don't see it, right? So some people are saying she's a mastermind and she made the debut look like $5 in a dream on purpose, but I'm not really like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like, if she is as smart as they say she is and they realize it was a mistake to bring her on, then I don't know why you would want to poke the bear by debuting Islet and not get rid of her first. You know what I mean? It's probably calculated that if we make the fuss now while she's here, then if she leaves and we copy her, it's not going to be like that big of a deal. Like, it's better for her to be internal for us to copy than for her to be JYP and we copy, right? Because then everybody's going to side with MHJ if she debuted like New Jeans somewhere else and then they made Islet, right? Like, I'm thinking about it from like that. Regarding the claim telling us to do ESG management, this is the environmental thing, environmental social governance. Our company is fulfilling ESG management within the scope that we carry out. Regarding an eco-friendly album, the company has worked hard to push. So this is the thing that like I don't understand at all. Like I don't know how this has to do with the situation. Melting photo cards is nonsense. The company had to invest considerable manpower and expense to convert the plastic material to digital album to paper, and to convert the album case and photo card to environmentally friendly biodegradable material. Accepting this willingly, investing in this ESG management. We are promoting the expansion of applying eco-friendly albums to all labels under HYBE. But most uncooperative labels adore, which internal are very well aware of. Damn. So HYBE is now saying from this message that Adore is not being cooperative in terms of fulfilling ESG by making things more environmentally friendly. This is something that I think I wasn't really aware of at the beginning of the discussion. I still don't understand like the importance of this part, but it seems like this is part of why New Jeans doesn't have photo cards, right? HYBE melting photo cards. Yeah, I think this is like, it's not the photo cards that's a problem. So it seems like Min Hee Jin wanted to address the photo card issue by saying, hey, people are buying albums for photo cards and then they're throwing away the albums. And that's causing environmental issues because, let's face it, it's a fucking waste. No one needs like 20 albums, right? Like that's the reality. No one needs 20 albums. But the only way they can support the label is by buying 20 of these things that are super redundant and then throwing away 19 of them because you only need one. And by incorporating a gacha gambling aspect, people are willing to do more of it. So that whole aspect is very scummy. It is predatory. Like adding gambling to anything is a predatory move. Are all predatory moves bad? No. Is this one super bad and scummy? Yeah. You literally added gambling to your fan base by adding a random RNG that you might get a chance, right? Not saying it's new and exciting, like it's a brand new concept in the industry, but it is an RNG aspect and it has gambling aspects to it. People find this BS since your photo cards melt and it's just gone. Yeah. Again, it's the photo card's not the waste. The waste is the album itself, the physical CD, that people are buying for the photo cards. Okay, so that's what this is saying. The most uncooperative is Adore. But didn't we just see a New Jeans photo card melt? Wait, photo card. Okay, HYBE to release. So this isn't just specifically New Jeans. Which groups? Universe. Oh my god, plastic use in K-pop albums gone up 14 times over the past 6 years. HYBE will be rolling out new albums, which contain a QR code to listen tracks instead of a plastic CD. You can also view other contents. So the photo card dissolving is fucking bullshit, right? But the rest of the packaging sounds like it's a decent move. Like here's a code for you to go online and get it. That doesn't sound too bad. But they're saying Adore is not cooperative in this. I might have to go back to the actual conference part and find what she's talking about here. Gotcha, Colette. Regarding the claim that there's no attempt for conversation, HYBE continuously discussed with CEO in charge of the shareholder meeting, but the discussion was when CEO Min's inquiry claimed to be whistleblowing arrived at HYBE. Nevertheless, HYBE sincerely responded to the matter claimed by whistleblowing. Okay, so nevertheless, however, and then also furthermore, it was confused throughout the audit that CEO Min, during the period when the shareholders agreement negotiation was in process, instead of secretly looking at HYBE's internal lawyers and accountants to be consulted on changing the shareholder agreement and raising issues in the form of whistleblowing, she contacted law firms and institutions to discuss the takeover management rates. So again, this is one of those she claims to be doing this. Min Hee Jin claims that she reached out to understand certain contract terms. HYBE is saying she reached out for takeover rights. We gotta wait for the court case. We just don't know. Garnet claimed that Shaman is simply a friend. Oh, okay, this is the BTS Shaman allegation. Outsider involved intricately in all cannot be viewed as more than a mere friend. If you go to a fortune teller on Wall Street and you ask what I think tomorrow's stock pick is, he is not your partner. Is every single fortune teller on Wall Street like responsible for everything that's happening in the stock market? This I think is you can't be viewed as a mere friend. Maybe they're best friends. In the course of conversation between Min Hee Jin and the shaman, undisclosed executive stock option amounts along with structure including political potential investors, each investor shareholder percentage are being exchanged. Decisions on issues are made based on the shaman's proposals. Cannot regard such a conversation partner as mere acquaintance. So unless the shaman is part of like the Korean Illuminati and has connections to other like super important clients that is also controlling those clients, then this seems kind of like a bullshit claim here. The company takes seriously the fact that important company information is being exposed to outsiders who are interviewing in decision making, and she also received hiring requests. So what Min Hee Jin did do at this point is go up to the shaman and say, hey, should I recruit this person? And then believe in superstition, whether she should or should not. Superstition is not a crime, right? Believing in superstitions does not make you complicit of anything. There are a lot of people that put on their shoe on one foot first, right? There are people that believe in horoscopes. So should every company sue any executive that reads a horoscope before they leave for breakfast? I don't know. I think this part's kind of bullshit. The whole bringing in the shaman thing, leave it as it is. There are plenty of people in this world that will talk about sensitive company information with a significant other. Does that mean their partner is complicit? They shouldn't do it, yeah. So again, this is not something that we can say if she is right or wrong. In the eyes of law, maybe it is illegal, and then that's up to court. Again, I don't get what is this obsession with people on social media trying to be right about things, especially if they have no idea what they're talking about, right? Because I come on here and I say, hey, I don't truly understand this. I want to know more. Or this part I'm not really sure about. And then I give an opinion, right? That's kind of like the epitome of React content. But there's a lot of people that go around and basically state random pieces of information as fact. And it blows my mind how people are so confident in being wrong. And then if you confront them, they're like, oh, I didn't know. Lol. Why during the comeback period regarding the claim that HYBE does not cherish New Jeans? So we learned that New Jeans was provided a financial package for their promotion, but press releases is not the sole thing for like a debut, right? It's not the sole promotion material. The side that began attacking the company via email around the time New Jeans comeback is CEO inside. Records secured through forensics, I guess like police reports, include instructions from CEO Min since April to prepare for a battle of public opinion along with records of creating noise to torment the company. We question whether they thought the company would accept the compensation request that borders on unreasonable if they pressure the company at this time. CEO Min's side is the one that actually threatened the company using the artist as hostage. If compensation request is accepted, it's good. If not, they intend to use the extent to pretext to end the relationship. This paragraph sounds like just regular speak to me. I don't know why they're so upset about it. I don't think they're using the artist as hostage. I think this is like if MHJ said, hey, I want a pay raise, otherwise I'm just not going to work with this group anymore, or we're going to basically disband, then what? She's CEO, right? Does she have the power to do that? To end the relationship? Then yeah, if you don't pay me enough, then I leave. If people are so willing to jump on the HYBE corporate train, then they have to accept corporate culture, which is you don't pay me enough, I leave. Then yeah, of course, she's gonna leave. But I don't think a lot of people are seeing that. They're like, hey, HYBE can do no wrong. How dare you request more money if they gave you so much money already? But again, I haven't seen anything. MHJ maybe should come out and defend the part about the confrontation, but she said it herself, like she doesn't have to do all this. She could just sit there and be rich, right? So part of this is kind of like, I don't know. If they're saying MHJ can sit there and be rich, why are they saying that she is threatening the company by using the artist as hostage when she doesn't have to? So they're kind of saying so many different things that I'm even getting confused reading this shit. Like within one thing of them addressing points, I'm confused already. Over the years, our company has accommodated and compromised with CEO Min's repeated requests. However, this time these requests are part of a so-called build-up process to take over management, so we had no choice but to carry out an audit to protect the multi-label's value regardless of timing. The reason we also requested she not mention the artist in press conferences is because we value the artist's worth. This is the only part that I'm like, HYBE cares a little, right? But again, they only care about the artist's worth. Nothing about the well-being of the artist, nothing about the families of the artist. HYBE cares about the artist's worth. If this last sentence doesn't make you question HYBE even a little bit, then you are lost. There is no hope in talking to any HYBE stans. And yeah, what takeover? She has 18%. And the clause says she can't do anything with it. So what are people talking about? So this right here is the 12-point response that HYBE released in response to the press conference. Because they realize they are losing public trust, they are losing public support, and HYBE wants to win it back. Part of this, maybe Korean culture will just flip-flop because of this response, but I'm not convinced. I'm still not convinced. There are parts of Min Hee Jin's story that does have holes in it, but there are parts of this response that also doesn't make sense, and it is very corporate talk, right? Again, it's like they don't want to incriminate themselves, but at the same time, they're not really defending themselves at all. It's messy, and it gets even messier as we go. As more people try to clean up the situation, it got even messier. And it truly does suck for both the groups involved. All right, so another thing, so that's the response. I think they pretty much threw the ball back in Min Hee Jin's court. And we kind of have to either wait for like the actual court case or Min Hee Jin to respond. At this point, is there anything else that came out? What does the comment say on this Soompi article? She made an unprincipled move at press by bringing up group members when the situation between her and HYBE. Yeah, but these other groups are part of HYBE, and she literally interacted with the groups. It's not she just went up. The comments, this comment making it seem like she went up, made a press conference, and then she literally went and listed up every single. She literally sat there and went 17 NCT, New Kids, BTS, LE SSERAFIM, aespa, Girls' Generation, Twice, Blackpink. Like, what? No, they literally have to do with this case. Like her debuting and all this stuff. Like, why is she causing emotional distress? They literally have to do with everything. Her acting and looking hinge. If popular theory is to believe that she purposely looked like this to garner attention, and she purposely made New Jeans debut look like it was $5 in a dream, then she's a genius, right? Then why would she put herself through this when she could make like even better plans behind the scenes? I don't know. There's even a video saying like she played us all into their hands. Like HYBE is not playing everyone into their hands, right? Both sides are trying to win this public war. Again, I don't know who's right. Because both sides have a lot of finger pointing. There's a lot of evidence that we still don't know. And I feel like this is still the beginning. It's day 5 and we're still in the beginning. Incoherent at times, maybe because she's upset. She's supposed to be a professional CEO, made herself look unprincipled, uncredible, and unpredictable. If she thinks acting like this is going to help her, nope. So this is your famous Western netizen just completely disconnected from everything else. The entire K-netizen, like Korean sentiment, is behind her because of this. If she thinks acting like this, well, it helped her. What do you think about that? How's it feel to just be wrong on the internet? They literally sentiment flip-flopped, and now people are supporting MHJ overnight. Not to mention they bought out like the sweatshirt that she was wearing. If she cannot manage herself, she had a hard time convincing others that she can manage a business. It's funny that she's been in the industry so long, a lot of people have respect for her, and HYBE actually like really wanted her that bad to give her everything. And here you're like, oh, she can't possibly be good at what she does. Excuse me? What? Just because she came without her expensive pearls and fake lashes doesn't make her a victim. True, she could still she could still be a culprit even though she looks victim-y. This whole situation is really messy. I hope the girls are okay. This is what should be popular sentiment. Because at the end of the day, the people that are affected are like people on payroll at a door, people that have invested in the companies, like that have a lot of stock in the companies, and the girls themselves, the K-pop groups. Idol she dragged into this. it kind of sucks, but maybe we need to expose the entire industry, right? So are you okay with all the K-pop idols that are affected, that are part of this? You know, they do their own thing. And maybe part of this is right? Maybe she shouldn't have brought all these groups in. Maybe she shouldn't have said anything about them. But she is in a situation where we don't know why she's like so backed into a corner, and maybe this is like the last resort, right? And she's not, like I said, she didn't go into the conference and name drop every single group. That's not what she did. She's not crazy as people keep pointing her out to be. As much as these people that are perpetually online want MHJ to look crazy, she's not. And obviously she's visibly upset the other day, and then you're gonna tell me she was crying, and then she looks over like that's how they paint her out to be. Detailed statement, evidence no one cared to read. There's some evidence, but it's not like every single thing was like a slam dunk. If you release a statement that you can basically have the last say for the moment, and you still didn't slam dunk every single statement, that's pretty weak, right? Like, you would expect every single point up here that HYBE made to be like a slam dunk. But even some of this is still questionable. Like, even some of these responses are still questionable to me. Maybe it makes perfect sense in a Korean context that's lost in translation, but you would expect these bullet points to be like slam dunks. But some of these are not. Some of these are still questionable. Like, what are they talking about? But it looks like she's attempting legal fraud. She's basically employees trying to take the company using her stock. They're still on the stock options thing. And if she really is in the wrong, right, and this whole thing goes over, I feel like there's a lot of people that are going to be hesitant working with specific groups in the future. And that sucks, right? But maybe it is time to expose how dirty the entire industry is. It's just they're operating on pure emotion, right? I don't know who to believe. Here comes the name calling. Unhinged, unprofessional victim playing CEO committing actual felony, or the hard evidence presented by the questionable, nonetheless professional media conglomerate. The media conglomerate that's trying to fool you. I think it's pretty easy. Yeah, neither of them. Don't believe either of them. That's what you should take away from this. And here goes more name throwing. If MHJ is this, then so is the entire fandom, right? You're basically calling the entire fandom this, because the fandom likes New Jeans, right? And they're young, so this guy basically called everyone that likes New Jeans this. It is, I do have to admit, it is partially grooming, but again, it is an industry of very young people working with adults. So, you know, we've seen from Nickelodeon, allegedly, we've seen from other things that these type of things do get messy and these type of things do happen. Yeah, so I think that's it. I think we're pretty much caught up for today. I don't think there's anything new. I think at this point, unless something major happens, pretty much everything's died down. So chat, hope you guys enjoy the segment. I think we did a bunch of reacts earlier. We went over the drama. I think that's pretty much it. I don't really have anything I want to go over today. I'm pretty drained from all this.